Every Monday morning, without fail, I'd hear the same sound: crunch, crack, snap. It wasn't the garbage truck, it was Karen, the self-appointed queen of the HOA, the tyrant in yoga pants, and the woman who apparently had a personal vendetta against my trash can. She would back her shiny SUV down the driveway with all the grace of a rhino on roller skates and then deliberately line her wheels up with my bin. Thud. Plastic buckled. Trash spilled. Karen smirked. And just like that, my Monday began with humiliation. Welcome to Prodigy Tales. Make sure you like and subscribe for your top-notch HOA drama. At first, I thought it was an accident. Everyone makes mistakes, right? But 3 weeks in a row, same time, same bin, same smug expression in her rearview mirror. No, this was a sport to her. Some people do yoga, some jog around the block. Karen flattened trash cans. Mine, specifically. I complained, of course. I called the HOA hotline, showed them the tire marks, even dragged the mangled remains of one bin into the monthly meeting like a victim at a crime scene. Their response? A bored shrug and a line I'll never forget: "It's just a trash can. Try not to place it so close to the street." Brilliant. Absolutely genius. Maybe next week I'll try levitating it. The worst part? My neighbors noticed. They didn't say much, but I could see it in their faces. Snickers when they saw me dragging another broken bin to the curb, raised eyebrows when Karen strolled by like she owned the world. I had become the neighborhood punchline. My trash can wasn't just trash, it was entertainment. Meanwhile, the costs piled up. $60 here, 70 there. Replacement bins that lasted barely a week before Karen's SUV turned them into modern art sculptures. And every time, I was the one cleaning up shredded garbage while Karen pretended nothing had happened. It wasn't just about the plastic anymore. It was about the principle. Karen had turned my life into her personal demolition derby, and I was left sweeping the wreckage. And the HOA, useless. They would never stand up to her. So I endured. I swallowed the humiliation week after week because what else could I do? But even patience has a breaking point, and mine was getting very, very close. By the fifth week, humiliation had turned into calculation. I'd stopped seeing Karen's Monday routine as an accident and started seeing it as a pattern: predictable, precise, almost ritualistic. She treated my trash can like a punching bag, and the HOA treated me like the punchline. Fine. If no one else would help me, I'd help myself. But I couldn't just buy another bin. That would only feed the cycle. Every crushed can was another small victory for Karen, another round of laughter from the neighbors. I needed something that would break the cycle, something that would make her regret ever treating my property like a speed bump. It started with research. I looked at heavy-duty bins online, the kind designed for commercial kitchens or industrial sites. Reinforced plastic, extra thick walls, decent options, but still just plastic. I needed more. The kind of more that would look harmless, but fight back when Karen rolled her tires over it. I drove past the home improvement stores and ended up at the contractor supply yard. Piles of cement bags lined up like soldiers, rebar stacked against the wall, wooden molds leaning against pallets. That's when it clicked. If Karen liked smashing trash cans, maybe it was time I gave her a trash can that couldn't be smashed. I spent the weekend working in my garage, built a mold out of scrap wood, lined it, poured bag after bag of cement until the thing weighed more than both of my regular bins combined. I even slid some rebar down the middle just for reinforcement. When it dried, I peeled away the mold and stared at my masterpiece, a concrete block disguised as a garbage can. Still, it had to pass the eye test. Karen wasn't stupid. She was petty, but not blind. So I painted the outside to look weathered, even scratched it up a bit so it resembled the beaten up bins she'd already crushed. From a distance, it looked weak. Up close, it looked ordinary. Only I knew it was waiting, heavy and unmovable. On Sunday night, I rolled it to the curb with a grunt, the wheels groaning under its weight. It stood there like bait, silent and ready, and I sat back, waiting for Monday. Monday morning came with the usual routine. Birds chirped, sprinklers hissed, and Karen's SUV growled to life. I was already on the porch, coffee steaming in my mug, eyes locked on the curb like a general watching the battlefield. My masterpiece stood there, quiet and innocent, the perfect decoy. She backed out, same as always, sunglasses perched on her nose, one hand clutching her latte like she was starring in her own commercial. Then she saw it. The trash can. My trash can. Her favorite target. Her lips curled into that smug grin I'd memorized over weeks of humiliation. She revved the engine like she was getting ready for a drag race, and then impact. Bam! The sound wasn't plastic crunching. It was metal folding, glass rattling, and Karen's front bumper snapping like a breadstick. The SUV jolted to a dead stop. The can didn't move an inch. Karen's head whipped forward, her sunglasses launched into the dashboard, and the airbag exploded in her face with a dramatic poof. For a moment, everything froze. Then the screaming started. She flung her door open, stumbling out, hair wild, latte dripping down her blouse. "What is this?" she shrieked, pointing at the trash can like it had personally attacked her. Neighbors poured out of their houses like spectators at a parade. Phones appeared, cameras rolled. The humiliation was no longer private, it was public, broadcast ready. One guy across the street yelled, "Guess you met your match, Karen." Laughter rippled through the crowd. Even the usually silent retirees at the corner house were smirking from their porch. Karen, however, wasn't laughing. She kicked the can. Nothing. She shoved it. Still nothing. Her bumper was hanging half detached, but the trash can stood firm, unbothered, indestructible. I leaned back in my chair, sipped my coffee, and raised my eyebrows like I was just as shocked as everyone else. Huh? Guess they weren't kidding when they said reinforced. Her face turned scarlet. "This is sabotage," she screamed, voice cracking. He, he planned this. She was frantic, pointing at me, covered in latte and airbag dust, her SUV bleeding fluids onto the street. But nobody rushed to her defense, not this time. The trash can had finally won a round, and I knew from the way Karen's eyes narrowed, she wasn't about to let it go. Karen wasted no time dragging the HOA into it. By that afternoon, I had a notice taped to my door, emergency board meeting. Oh yes, the great tribunal of lawn obsessives and mailbox police had convened. The agenda? My weaponized trash can. Karen stormed into the meeting with photos of her mangled SUV printed on glossy paper, waving them around like courtroom evidence. She painted herself as the tragic victim of my malicious booby trap, her voice cracking as she described the trauma of her latte-stained blouse. She wanted me fined, removed, maybe even arrested. The board looked serious for about 3 seconds, until I slid my own packet across the table. Receipts, screenshots, product listings. See, I hadn't built a concrete monster in my garage, not officially. According to my carefully documented purchase, I had simply ordered a heavy-duty reinforced garbage container from an online supplier. Industrial strength, weather-resistant, advertised as unbreakable. 100% legal. "Are you suggesting," I asked sweetly, "that the HOA can fine me for buying a higher quality bin, one designed not to be destroyed by careless drivers?" I let that hang in the air. The room shifted. A couple of neighbors even stifled laughs. Everyone knew what Karen had been doing. They'd watched her run over my bins for weeks. Her little game was no secret. And now she was trying to punish me for finally owning something she couldn't crush. Karen sputtered, demanded action, but the board's tone had changed. Instead of punishing me, they quietly suggested she cover the damages to my property. That sent her into a meltdown so dramatic it deserved its own soap opera theme music. The end. Please like and subscribe for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think Karen got what she deserved? Comment below.